Welcome to the SignMeOn tutorial. This is the full guide on how to use the app. We're going to cover absolutely everything. So if you'd like to get into the app, you'll have to create an account. To do that, click sign up, type in your email, make up your password, and then tap create account. This animation will show up, which means you're loading in, and then you'll arrive at the subscription page. This will give you some details about what the app has to offer, and it will also tell you about the pricing. If you've managed to get a referral code, paste it in, hit apply, and then you'll receive a discount. Now, for this example, I'm on iOS, so if I hit start annual membership, this redeem special offer page will come up. From here, I'll click redeem, I'll pay for it, then I'll click open, and I'll arrive back at the app. Once I arrive back, I'll have to confirm my membership. I'll click I've redeemed my offer, and that's going to verify that my subscription has went through. Now, if you didn't paste a referral code in, that page won't come up. You'll bypass that and you'll go straight into the app. If you're on Android, it's the same process again. If you have a referral code, paste it in, hit apply, and then tap start annual membership. Then here you can click subscribe, and once you've done that, you'll go straight into the app. You can now start by editing your profile. Now, you have some fields to fill out. The only fields you don't need to fill out is your profile picture and your bio. The rest of the stuff you have to complete. So type in your full name, your date of birth. Now for this app, all members have to be over the age of 18, so if you try and select something that doesn't meet that criteria, it won't work. Then make up a username, choose your country of residence, type in your handicap, 35 is a bit more accurate, and then type in your golf club. Now, everyone's expected to have a membership at a golf club, and that creates a reciprocal nature where everyone's contributing towards hosting games. Once you're happy with your details, click save, and then you'll load into the app. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is your profile page. At the bottom right, if you click this user icon button, that's going to load you into your profile page. So as you can see, my username is set to demo. You can see my name, my age, my handicap, and my membership. So this is all information that will be visible to other users. If any of that information needs to change, you can click Edit Profile, and that will load you back into the Edit Profile page. Now, just be careful, the full name, date of birth, and username all cannot be changed, so it's quite important that you get that information right to begin with. If you did manage to get that wrong, then what you can do is contact support and we'll correct it for you. Another thing, if you click User Score, it will load you into your stats page. Now, this isn't really too relevant for this account because it's not played any games yet, but once you actually start to use the app, it will start collecting how many games you've played, how many games you've hosted, and it will also start collecting reviews from other members who've played with you. So that's your profile page. Now, you can choose to look at other people's profiles. If you want to do that, click this search icon button. From here, you can click the top bar, and then you can type in to find a friend who has the app. On their profile, you can follow them, you can message them, and you can go in and have a look at their stats. Now that's done, we'll focus on the main function of the app. So if you click this course icon button at the bottom left, it will load up your main feed. Now this is where you'll see all the posts from all the users in the app. There's 4 separate filters we need to worry about. The first one's at the top. You'll notice it says, All Courses, Scotland. So what that means is, the feed is currently set to show all the posts that are for Scotland. Now, if I want to change that, then what I can do is tap this little chevron button, and that will take me into the course selector page. As you can see, there's a big list for all the courses in Scotland. To change the country, click on this globe icon, and that will load up all the country options. It's currently the UK and Ireland, but for this example, we'll stick with Scotland. Now, you can see this box here says, all courses, show every course in Scotland. If I tap on that, it's going to load me back into the main feed again, and it's that same filter as before. But maybe I don't want to see everything in Scotland. Maybe I want to change that. Maybe that's too broad. If that's the case, I'll hit these 3 lines next to the globe icon, and if I tap on all areas, I've now got 5 areas to choose from within Scotland. So for now, we'll go with Glasgow and the West. Now, I can stop there, or I can choose to select a county as well. If I tap on all counties, you can see there's a big list for all the counties in Glasgow and the West. But for now, we'll stick with just the area. Once you're happy with your selection, hit Apply Filters, and you'll notice that 2 things have happened. The first thing that's happened is the box now says, show every course in Glasgow and the West, whereas before, as we've seen, it was just set to the entire of Scotland. So that's actually changed. If I choose to click in that box now, it will load me back into the main feed, but now the posts that are shown are only related to Glasgow and the West. The other thing that changed is the list below. Now it only shows courses in Glasgow and the West, so it narrows it down a little bit. If I want to filter it even further, I can select those 3 lines again, and if I choose a county, so for this example, we'll use North Ayrshire, and of course again, you'll see that the all courses box has now changed, and it's set to show every course in North Ayrshire. So if I click on that, you'll see the filters change the feed again, and if I go back in again and have a look at the course list, you'll see that it's much shorter, so it's easier to find a course. Another way of finding a course is using the search bar. So for this example, we'll search for Largs Golf Club. You'll see that it comes up, so I can then select that. Something to be wary of though, if you're looking for a course, make sure the course you're looking for isn't being blocked by a filter. So for instance, if my area was set to Edinburgh and East, Largs isn't going to come up because Largs isn't in that area. So that's just something to look out for. I'll tap on Largs Golf Club and that'll load me into the main feed that's focused for that club. So that's the first filter out the way. The second filter is for the post type. There's only 2 types of posts. One's for hosting and one's for finding. A hosting post means someone has a membership at a golf club and they're looking to host a game for other members to join. A finding post means someone's looking for a game at a golf course that they don't have a membership at, so they're looking for someone to host for them. If you want to see both types of posts, tap the filter button that says all, and that will show both the hosting and the finding posts. So that's the second filter. The third filter is the date. So this here's the date selector. It's currently set to today's date, which is July the 3rd. So that means I'll see every single post that's available to me from now. If I want to change that, for example, I'll go with August 1st. I will now only see posts from August 1st and onwards. So you'll notice that cut out a lot of those posts because they were all prior to that date. So it just makes it that little bit more easier for you. You can filter posts to when you're available. So that's the third filter. The fourth filter is the handicap. Now, the handicap filter isn't something you actually change on the main feed. The filter is based on your profile. So on my profile, you can currently see that my handicap is set to 35, which means that I will only see posts that allow a 35 handicap to be a part of the group. To demonstrate this, as you can see right now, I can only see 4 posts. But if I change my handicap, so I've had a couple of games, I've got a little bit better, and now all of a sudden I'm a 14 handicap. So if I hit confirm and then I hit save, you'll see that if I now go back onto my main feed, there's now 5 posts that I can see. And that's because this 0 to 15 post is now within my handicap range. So that's something to look out for. Obviously, don't change your handicap if you're not at that level, because that's going to affect your ratings, and we'll get onto that more later. But it's important to set your handicap correctly. So all these filters can be used to find the right game that you're looking for. If you choose to host a game for a group, it means that you have a membership at that course. So for this example, I actually do have a membership at Largs Golf Club, so this finding post here would be relevant to me. So I would then choose to host that game. Alternatively, if I didn't have a membership, then I'll be choosing to join a game. So after I tap the join button, this joining page loads up. It's pretty simple. Anyone above the line is already in the group. To show you an example, Jamie just joined the group. As you can see, above the line, there's now 2 people in this group. And beneath the line, there's a demo account, which is me, and I'm looking to join the group. If I want to join this group with someone, then I'll select the add guest button, and that will load up this page. Now, there's 2 options for this page. We'll focus on the first one that's available to us, and that is to add a guest who doesn't have the app. So say someone you know wants to play with you, but they don't have an account. So for example, we'll use Harry. Harry wants to play a game with me. I'll type in his name here, and then I'll select the drop down menu, and I'll select his handicap. Once those 2 fields are set, I'll click the add button, and you'll notice that below where it says add guests, Harry is now selected to join the group with me. If I try to add another guest, that's not going to work, and that's because the capacity of this group is set to 4, and if me and Harry joined, it would then be full. So I'll tap join game, and that will take me into the group's details page. So we'll focus on the important stuff first. First up, you can see the info section. So that tells you the course name, the estimated time. Now, it says estimated time because hosts sometimes are only allowed to book a slot closer to the tea time. So if it says estimated time, it means it's not confirmed yet. You'll know when it is confirmed because it will say confirmed, and you'll also be notified about it, but I'll show you more on that later. Then you have the address for the course that the group will be playing at. Beneath that, you have the allowed handicaps for this group. So for this group, all handicaps are allowed. At the bottom of the info section, you have the guest fee, and that's how much you will be expected to pay to the host on the day of the game. Then you have the members section. That's all the people who are in this group. You might notice that next to Harry's name, it doesn't say member, and that's because Harry doesn't actually have an account. He's just a guest, and in this case, my guest. So if you see guest, that just means they don't have an account. They're not a real user. For the real users, you can go ahead and click on their profile picture, and that will take you to their profile page, and you've seen that before. At the bottom of the group's details page, you'll see that it says leave group. Now, if you want to leave the group, that's absolutely fine, but we do expect you to put in a reason as to why you're leaving, and that just keeps the rest of the group informed. So I did gloss over this, but at the top, you can customize the chat, so you can choose to change the group photo and the group name. Once you've done that, just hit save, and that will lock that change in. Beneath that, it says view chat, and if you tap on that, it'll take you into the chat page, and that's where all the members in the group can talk between each other. Obviously, as I joined this group, I was navigated straight into the group's details page, but if you're looking for how to find it otherwise, then what you can do is at the bottom tap this message icon, and that will load up this page here, which shows you all of your active groups. So currently this profile only has one active group, and if I tap anywhere on this square, it will load me into the group's details page. Anywhere to the right of that square, and it will take me into the chat page. And in here, if I tap the group name, it's another way to get into the group's details page. So it's all linked together. So that's the active groups. It's ordered by upcoming games, so they'll be closest to the top. Now, one thing I didn't get around to mentioning was, you can see now that Jamie's followed me, which means I now have a follower. So if I go onto my profile, and if I hit the number next to following or followers, I can then see who I follow and who follows me. So with that, if I then choose to join a group, and I want to join with a guest, you'll see that my follower is now an option to join with me. And that's because he's now my friend in the app. So if I select add next to his name, you can see his name at the bottom. And if I then choose to join the group, he's in the group with me. So I've showed you how to join someone's group, but what if you want to host someone's group? If I find a post for a game that I can host, then I'll tap on this host game button and the host game page will load up. It looks quite similar to the join game page. The only difference is you can choose to change the guest fee. So maybe £15 isn't enough, or maybe you think it's too much. You can go in and change the amount. Then I'll tap on this host game button. You'll get a prompt. Do you have a membership at Largs Golf Club? It will be your responsibility to book the slot. If you're choosing to confirm this, it means that you do have a membership at the golf course in question. If that's the case, tap confirm and you'll load straight into the group's details page. So for this example, I'm now the host for this group. Next to my username, you'll see that it says host. A couple of differences when you're the host of a group. You're the one that confirms the tee time. So the estimated time is currently August 13th at 7:08. I will then confirm that if I can book a slot at that time. If I can't, then I can choose to change this tee time. Now, you can only change the time, you can't change the date. So that means if I choose to host a game for someone, I'm confirming that I can fulfill the game on that date. So in an ideal world, the estimated time, if that's available for me to book, then I'll book it. If that's not the case, then I can change the tee time. Now, I would try as best as possible to keep that time as close to the original estimated time, which will make it more likely that everyone in the group will be available. So in this example, I'll set it to 8:08. If that doesn't fit anyone in this group's preferences, they can go ahead and leave. You'll notice that it doesn't say leave group for me. That's not an option. It says delete group, and that's because I'm the host. So if I choose to leave the group will then be discarded. So if something does come up and I can no longer play the game, then I'll tap delete group. Similar to leave group, you'll need to write a message as to why the group's being deleted. On the other tab, it says messages, and if I click on that, it will show me all of my messages. This account doesn't have any yet, but if it did, it would look like this. So Jamie's just sent me a message and I got a notification about that. Speaking on notifications, this is quite important for getting the best use out of the app. If I click on this icon here, it will take me into the notification page. And if I click this icon here, it will take me into my preferences. So right now, I have everything selected, which means I'm going to be alerted about everything. To go through the options, we have social, so that's your followers and your messages. Now, messages are both in the group chat and your direct chat, so you can choose to turn them on or off. There's games and hosting, so you can get pinged for when someone joins your group, when someone requests to join your group, when you're accepted into a group, and for any other game updates. If you have them turned on, you'll be notified about it. The very last one, and this is the most beneficial, course posts. Basically, you can turn alerts on for a location, and whenever a post goes live in that location, you'll be notified about it. So this will help you because you can join groups straight away, and that's beneficial because spaces might get taken up quickly. For example, if I set it to Scotland, and if I hit confirm, and then I save my preferences, whenever a post now goes live in Scotland, I'll be notified about it straight away. To show you a quick example of what that looks like, as you can see at the bottom, I have a notification, and if I tap on that, you'll see at the top it says new post in Scotland, and that's just a moment ago. If I click on it, it will then take me into the joining page, and from here I can join the group straight away, nice and quickly. Now on this page, if you have a notification that you're not interested in or you want to get rid of, then what you can do is swipe it to either side and it will disappear. Now if you don't have the app loaded up and a post goes live in a location that you have your preferences set to, then just make sure that on your device settings you have push notifications enabled for SignMeOn, so that means you'll still get notified about it even when you're not in the app. Okay, one thing I've not mentioned yet is how to create a post yourself. To do that, click this icon button here next to the hosting tab and you'll arrive at the create post page. It's the same details that you're filling out for the groups you've already seen. So first up, you have a drop down menu for the type of post, and as we know, it's either finding or hosting. We'll choose hosting. Then you have the guest fee, so that's how much you're expecting the guest to pay. Before, if I chose finding, then the guest fee will be how much you are expecting to pay, but we'll keep it at hosting. Then type in your title for the post, that's just to be short and sweet. Then select the course you want to play at, and for this example, we'll go back to Largs again. Beneath that, we have the allowed handicaps. So remember how I said before that the main feed only shows posts that match your handicap? Well, this is where you choose which handicaps are allowed to be a part of the group. So you can choose whatever you want, but it has to include your own group. So for example, if I chose to deselect 11 to 15, that's not going to work because on my profile, my handicap is currently set to 14. So it has to be consistent with your profile. The groups will also automatically adjust. So for example, if I try to deselect 6 to 10, 0 to 5 is going to deselect with that, and that just keeps the ranges intact. Once I'm done, I'll hit apply selection, and as you can see, it's now set to 11 to 25 plus. Then click here to choose the date and time. Select whenever you're available to play. As we mentioned before, the date is important because it can't be changed later. So if you do decide you want to play on a different day, you're going to have to create another post, or you're going to have to find another group to be a part of. For this example, we'll go with August 6th, and I'll choose my time. So the date's locked in, and the time is estimated. Then you have the capacity of the group. So that's how many people will be in your group, including yourself. The minimum's 2, the maximum's 4. I think for most, they'll keep that at 4. Next, you can choose to add existing guests. And what that means is, these are the guests that can be a part of your group as it's created. It's the same page as before. Again, you can choose to add a guest who doesn't have an account. So I'll type in Bob. Now, these handicap options, they are filtered to match the allowed handicaps for this group. So that's what we just set before. So just keep that in mind. Once you're happy with that, you can click add. And if I want to go back in again and I want to add a friend, then I can click add next to their name. So that will show the 2 people who will be a part of your group as it's created. If on this page I decide, actually, I don't want them to be a part of this group anymore, then all I do is click the added button and it will unadd them. The very last field is approve players before they join. Now, what this means is, if another member on the app stumbles across your post, they won't be able to join your group straight away. Instead of the post saying join group, it will say request to join group. And when they choose to do that, you'll be notified that someone's requested to join your group. To manage that request, you can go into your group's details page, then you can tap on this request box, and it will load up your current requests. they will appear here. As you can see, there's a group of 2 people who want to join my game. It's pretty simple. I either click tick or X. If I click tick, they'll now be a part of my group. So now that we're in a lot of groups, you can get an idea of what it looks like when you have multiple. And as I said before, the groups are ordered by upcoming games. Next to each group, it will say joined or hosting. So that's just how you can differentiate between which groups you've joined and which groups you're in charge of. Now, once your group's played its game and 3 hours have passed since the start time, when you load back into that group's details page, you can now see there's an option to review the game. So for this example, there's 4 questions to answer. The first question is, did the game take place? And after that, you can review the players in your group. It will only show the members who have an account. So if someone in your group brought a guest who doesn't have an account, then your review is taking into consideration them and their guest. So for this group, there's only 2 people, which means I'm only rating one other person because I can't rate myself. It's pretty simple. For the timekeeping, did they turn up on time? For etiquette, did they conduct themselves fine on the course? For handicap accuracy, did their handicap match with their profile? Once you're happy with your choices, you can click confirm. Now, this group isn't going to discard just yet. It will only discard once all the members have completed their ratings. And when that does happen, you'll be punted out of the group, and this little prompt will come up to say, if eligible, your profile stats will be updated after the game is finalised. Now, it does say if eligible. It would be ineligible if one of the players in the group said the game did not take place. So in that scenario, the ratings would all discard and no one's stats will be updated. If someone doesn't complete the ratings within 7 days, it will automatically assume a positive rating and the group will then finalise and every player's stats will then update. So if I go back in and check my user score, you can see that I've now played a game and that was a game that was hosted by me. You can also see for these 3 categories, the other player gave me a positive review. And that all contributes towards my user score, so now I'm closer to getting leveled up. Another good thing to mention, if I go back onto the main feed, at the top, every course has its own photo. Now, currently, a lot of courses do not have photos. It's just default photos for now. So you can choose to submit a photo, so select whatever course you want, then click on the camera icon button, and from there, you can then choose to upload your own course photo. Now it has to have been taken by you. You have to have the rights to the photo, and if that's the case, you can then agree to the terms, and we will then review the photo, and if it's not terrible, it could be featured in the app. The last thing to do is look at the settings page. So if I go back into my profile, and then I click these 3 dots, this will load up the settings page. There's a lot going on in here. I'll try and keep it brief. At the very top, you have edit profile. That's what we've seen before. Beneath that, we have manage subscription. And if I click on that, it's going to be device specific, but it will take you wherever your subscription's being held. Next up's referrals. So this is quite important. Whenever a user creates a profile, they will be given a unique referral code. Now, what a referral code does is it allows you to gift it to other people who don't have the app. And when you gift it to someone, they will get a month free and you will get a month free. So how it works is, whenever your next subscription date rolls around, it's going to push that date back by however many months that you've earned. All the information's here. I'm not going to go through everything, but to put it short, per year you can get 6 months free, and any months beyond that will carry over to the next year. Then you have the verification. Now this isn't a necessity, but I do recommend it. So to get verified, what you can do is type in your phone number, make sure that your country code's at the beginning, then tap send code. You'll receive a 6-digit code, put that code into this field here, and then tap verify. If that goes through, your account will then be verified. And what that does is it will give you a tick next to your username. And that's what it looks like on your profile. Next on the settings page is the tutorial. Now, that's what you're watching right now. So one way or another, you found it. Congrats. Then there's support. This will send you to your device's email and it will prompt a draft directed to our support email. The last thing to mention is delete account. Now, hopefully you don't decide to do this, but if you do, it will load up this delete account page and it tells you what happens next. Little hint, your account will get deleted. And I think that's it. I think that is quite literally everything. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We will get back to you. But yeah, have fun with it.